lovers, we'll marry our fortunes together. I've got some real estate here in my bag. So we bought a pack of cigarettes and Kenny's apple pies and walked off to look for America. Kathy, I said as we boarded a Greyhound in Pittsburgh, Iowa seems like a dream to me now. It took me 4 days to hitchhike from Omaha. I've come to look for America. Laughing on the bus, playing games with the faces. She said the man in the Pokemon suit is a spy. I said be careful, his left leg is an assault rifle. Hey, toss me a cigarette, I think there's one in my raincoat. No, sorry, we smoked the last one an hour ago. So I looked at the scenery. She scrolled on her phone and the moon rose over an open field. Kathy, I'm lost, I said, though I knew she was sleeping. I'm empty and aching and I don't know why. Counting the cars on the New Jersey Turnpike, they've all come to look for America. They've all come to look for America. We've all come to look for America. Where has it gone? What's happened to my America? What happened to you? Wasn't that nice? Wasn't that nice? A little bit of Simon and Garfunkel to get you started. I like that Simon and Garfunkel song, probably one of my favorites, you know. Something nostalgic about it, about like being young and being free and going out to see the country or quote unquote the world, because the world's small, you know, whatever. It's good. It's good. Hey, it's Sunday, September 14th, and it's been quite a while since we did a Dougcaster. It'll probably be another week or so until this gets out because all the editing.
Oh, boy.
Let's go! The Dougcaster. But we got a new Dougcaster for you. We got all kinds of things to talk about. I'm going to talk about my balls. I'm going to talk about poker. I'm going to talk about James Cagney. Ooh, boy, that's some exciting stuff. But before we need to do any of that, let's have another song to take us back. A little bit nostalgic. The song itself won't be nostalgic for you, but the theme is, because I bet you probably never heard this song before in your entire life. Get yourself some Tom Waits. No, you don't know. You don't know Tom Waits. You don't know. It's called Old 55. Old 55. It's about being young. This song's from like 1970. It's talking about a 1955 car, like a Cadillac or a Buick. You know, they were big old boats. But it's not so much about the car. It's about what the car represents and the freedom. It's about being young and having your first car and going out and driving and just having that freedom and just feeling like, ow, here comes, I'm young and full of luck. And this kind of, oh boy, just go back to thinking about when you had your first car. Go ahead, think about it. What was your first car? Oh, yeah, I remember distinctly. Going downtown, gonna see my gal, gonna sing her a song, gonna show her my ding-dong. Yeah. Like that was a Cheech and Chong song, wasn't it? Was that Blind Melon Chitlin? Mm-hmm. Anyway, here you go, your first car. Come on now. Oh yeah, remember? I remember when you first got the keys. Get them keys in your hand and you're out the door. Freedom awaits. Well, my time went so quickly. I went lickety splitty out to my old 55. As I pulled away slowly, feeling so holy, God knows I was feeling alive. And now the sun's coming up. I'm riding with Lady Luck. Freeway cars and trucks, stars beginning to fade, and I lead the parade. Just a wishing I'd stayed a little longer. Oh Lord, let me tell you that the feeling getting stronger. And 6 in the morning came with no warning. I had to be on my way. The trucks all are passing me and the lights are all a flashing. I'm on my way home from your place. And now the sun's coming up. It is. I'm riding with Lady Luck. She's a shotgun. Freeway cars and trucks, stars beginning to fade, and I lead the parade. Just a wishing I'd stayed a little longer. Oh Lord, let me tell you that the feeling getting stronger. Well, my time went so quickly. I went lickety splitty out to my old 55. As I pulled away slowly, feeling so holy, God knows I was feeling alive. And now the sun's coming up, riding shotgun with Lady Luck. Oh yeah. Freeway cars and trucks. What'd you say? Freeway cars and trucks. All these freeway cars and trucks. I'm young and full of luck. I got nothing but time. Young and full of luck, nothing but time. What a sweet life it is. But oh, you gotta go to school. And you gotta work so you can put gas in the car and take Sally. Excuse you. And take Sally down to the drive-in on Thursday. Thursday? Why don't you do it on the weekend? Because it's cheaper on Thursday. Oh. Ah, right on. You gonna be making out with Sally in the back seat. Ooh, look at you go. You're so young and full of luck. Woo-hoo. And now you're an old crusty son of a bitch, ain't you? Old crusty son of a bitch. Well, I hope you got a little bit of money so that you're not feeling pressured from all sides because everything's more expensive. Oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? You know what I recommend to you? My advice for you. What you should do. You wanna know what you should do? What? Buy yourself a shotgun. A 12-gauge shotgun. Jingle bells, Christmas coming up. Get yourself under the tree, a big old fancy gun. Hey! Dingleberries. 12-gauge shotgun. That'll take care of any burglars. And if things get bad, if everything goes south, and the alternative's going to be worse, you can always eat the barrel. You know, it's kind of, you know, it's like old Mark Maron says, like, well, I don't have any interest in doing it, but it's really nice to have it as an option, you know, right? Okay, so this week's episode, it's been a while since we had an episode. Did we tell you when it is? It is Sunday, the 14th, and it will probably be a week or so because I am lazy as fuck and it's taking me forever to record this. I recorded the songs like last week or something, and I keep putting this off, but we're just gonna sit down and fucking do it right now, okay? And we have a sponsor this week. Our sponsor is Burgess Beardmore. Who? Burgess! Burgess Beardmore bringing sponsorship, bringing the money. Where'd my slide whistle go? We gotta have some slide whistle for the Burgess Beardmore sponsorship. Burgess Beardmore's gonna sponsor our episode. Burgess Beardmore is sponsoring this episode. Well, thank you, Burgess. We appreciate it. Burgess, you're all right. You're worth the shit. Worth the shit. I don't know. I'm not restarting again. We're keeping it. Burgess Beardmore, you are worth the shit, as opposed to not worth the shit. I don't know. My apologies. So we got this copy to read from Burgess Beardmore. Don't apologize, never apologize. Everything you do is gold. Gold! Gold, Jerry, it's fucking gold! Okay, so Burgess Beardmore is sponsoring this episode, so let me read the copy. Excuse me. This is almost like a poem. Is Burgess writing a poem? He didn't provide any music. I don't think it's a song. I don't know. But Burgess Beardmore is looking for a new shift supervisor down at the big old barn of beef. Burgess Beardmore's big old barn of beef is looking for a shift supervisor, and I guess this is the requirements. All right, you ready for Burgess Beardmore's ad sponsorship? If you can keep Sawyer Brown from undercooking them hash browns, if you can keep Post Malone from burning the pot roast, if you can keep Dwight Yoakam from breaking a yolk on them over easy eggs, you might be just what I need here at Burgess Beardmore's big old barn of beef. If you can keep Travis Tritt off of all of his bullshit, all of it. If you can keep Kenny Chesney focused on making that spicy chutney. Spicy. If you can move them bacon beefy brat blasters faster and faster and faster. Well, I want to talk to you. We got more beef than Lee Van Cleef at Burgess Beardmore's big old barn of beef. Lee Van Cleef? That is an obscure reference. Wasn't that like a Western star, like Western movies? Lee Van Cleef. That's what you call them, Westerns. Hey, you can't have any guns in this town. Well, I ain't taking my gun off for nobody. All right, okay. So, yeah, we got more beef than Lee Van Cleef. Yeah, we do. At Burgess Beardmore's big old barn of beef. I got a chunk of cherry wood I'm going to throw out. I need a shift supervisor. Strong and stout. Yeah. Strong and stout, Burgess? Really? Okay.
Strong and stout.
I need somebody that can run these shits and put the fires out. Trice Adkins smoking pot in the cooler again. Sammy Kershaw melted his chest hair frying bacon shirtless and Shania Twain can't wait a table to save her fucking life.
Their fucking goddamn life.
If I hire you, you gotta fix it all.
If I hire you.
You gotta make everything run right. So if you think you can be the next shift supervisor for Burgess Beardmore's big old barn of beef, come on down and apply. It's easy as pie. You take 29 South and you get off at the nudie bar exit and you find the Burger King next to the nudie bar, and it's right next to the dumpster. There's a dirt road, goes up several miles. Ignore the no trespassing signs and the you'll be shot signs, and you'll get up there and you'll find Burgess Beardmore's big old barn of beef. Stay, have yourself a meal, but what he wants you to do is, see, he has instructions. Do not talk to Curtis. Leave your information with the hostess, Pam Tillis. And now play this message for Curtis. Oh, I guess there's a message I gotta play. Hold on, let me see here. Burgess has something he wants us to play. Okay.
Wanna play some darts or some pool?
Curtis!
Burgess got something to tell you.
Curtis!
If I was to keep pleasing,
Tell him.
Cherrywood, goddammit, you son of a bitch! How many times? How many times, Curtis Cherrywood? How many fucking times?
Wow, that's some Martin Scorsese shit right there. Quite the performance, Burgess. I wasn't expecting that. Okay. Burgess Beardmore, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for sponsoring this episode. All right, so we can get rid of that. Get rid of that copy. We don't need the copy anymore, so we ball it up and throw it away. We'll just toss it over there. Just toss it over there. Just toss it over there. It can be over there. Mm-hmm. Hit the vape pen. What are we going to talk about? I'm going to talk about a couple stupid things real quick. I bought an outdoor rug for the deck, which is like basically plastic, like woven plastic, and it come all rolled up. And I unrolled the thing, you know, it was a pretty big thing, and it just had this plastic smell that was nostalgic. I guess nostalgia's the theme of the episode. Nostalgia is the theme of the episode, but it smelled so nostalgic. It smelled like when you get a cassette tape, and remember it depended like on where it was manufactured. Some were more than others, but it would just have this distinct plastic smell, and it smelled kind of sweet. I don't know, and the little booklet and everything smelled like it. I remember I had a rock set. Remember? She's got the look, she's got the look. Not that album, but the next one. I think it was called like Joyride. I'm sure it was fucking terrible. But it smelled like that so much. I remember getting that cassette and smelling that. I don't remember listening to it much. I think it sucked, but I remember the smell. The rug for the deck smelled like that. Brought me back, nostalgic. There's speaking of shit that don't hold up, I did some painting the other night. Actually did. I don't do it very often. It's been months. Finally did a little bit of painting. Got me all charged up. I want to do some more. It was a big piece. I like what's happening with this big piece. Big oil piece. I put a little more on it, and I like what it's doing, and I'm like, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, but them will be for future weeks and months. But anyway, I was listening to some music, and then I was like, well, let's listen to something nostalgic. Let's listen to Warrant. And I was like, let's see, Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich or Cherry Pie? Let's see. Dirty Rotten is, it's less played out, but also not quite as good as Cherry Pie. But like the Cherry Pie, like the song itself is terrible, but there are some decent shit on that album. But I was like, hey, remember that Dog Eat Dog album, the one that came out after Cherry Pie? I remember buying that, but I don't ever remember listening to it. Let's see how that holds up. So I played like 4 or 5 songs of that, and oh my God, it is so fucking terrible. You would not hardly believe how bad it is. Just the cheese, just so fucking cheesy, and not in a good way. Like I love the right amount of cheese. Like you get that Conway Twitty cheese. Like, oh mama, drip that Conway Twitty cheese all over me. Get it? But this was just fucking terrible. I listened to like 4 or 5 songs, then I apologized to the dog. I was like, I'm sorry that we were listening to that, Stark. I'm sorry. I apologize. That was so... And the whole time I'm listening to it, I'm going, oh man, this is terrible. I don't know. I don't think it aided in the painting. We had to stop it and put something else on. And when I say 4 or 5 songs, like I'd listen to a while, then I'd skip it. I'd be like, well, one of these has got to be Jesus fucking Christ. It did not hold up. Sorry, buddy. Oh, man. I remember Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich. I remember out at my grandparents, out in the barn with all the hay, and one of my cousins had like a little boom box with a cassette of that. They'd put it in, and what is it, 30 pennies, 32 pennies? I don't know that first song. Just nostalgia, 32 pennies. And but that's the fucking Dog Eat Dog was a far cry. It was so bad. Of course, so if I went back and listened to the other ones, they'd probably not be good. I don't know. Cheesy shit. So there's a line from a song that I haven't heard in forever that gets in my head once in a while. An old Bon Jovi one, but not one of the good Bon Jovis. It's not New Jersey or Slippery When Wet. There was some good stuff on if you could pick out 4 or 5 songs that are not, most of them are not the big radio play, but there's like Ride Cowboy Ride. So you wanna be a cowboy? No, Ride Cowboy Ride's a different song. And then there's that song. I don't know. Wild is the wind that takes me away from you. Cold as the night without your love to get me through. My baby, Sorry. No, don't apologize. Never apologize. It's art. Don't apologize for art. Art. Where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. But there's a later song that I don't like the song, but I like the one line. There's a bottle of vodka still lodged in my head, and some blonde gave me nightmares. Think that she's still in my bed. And then here's the good line. Well, I dream about movies they won't make of me when I'm dead. When I dream about movies they won't make of me when I did. Yeah. Not when, as I dream about movies they won't. You get the picture.
Do you get it?
Get the picture.
Fuck it.
I don't have anything for that. It's
Fuck
just, it gave me excuse to sing Wild as the Wind, I guess. Baby. So you wanna be a cowboy? Well, you know it's more than just an ass. Come on. I almost want to listen. It doesn't. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. Okay. All right. So, my nuts. You want to talk about my nuts? My balls?
Please.
My hangers? My glittery globs? Go on. My swingers?
Yeah.
My danglers? My escalator grazers? You want to talk about my balls? Oh, man. How they hanging? I thought that there was something going on with them, but I wasn't inspecting them too closely. But I suspected something was off, but I ignored it. And then, I don't know, one day one of the things above the ball was swelled up a little bit. I think that's actually normal, like something can get blocked up and it swells up a little bit, it goes away. But when I also, then a week later, like I noticed like a lump, like about the size of your pinky nail. Think of your pinky nail and then make that into a little sphere. Yeah, about like that. Oh, and it was like on top, and I was like, oh man, this is trouble. And then it was over on the side, and I was like, well, what's it doing over here? And then I made a doctor's appointment. So I go in to see the doctor, and I need to get my prescriptions renewed anyway. And so I finally went in, and I was like, I gotta have somebody look at my balls. I like my doctor. She's good. She's professional. I probably talked about this before, but I had an Asian doctor before, but he kept fucking shit up. Like, I thought I hit the jackpot with an Asian doctor. I thought they'd be the best. What is that, reverse discrimination? But he was gone one time, and so I went to her, and she was like, well, you shouldn't, this needs to change, blah, blah, blah. So she fixed my medicines, and I like this doctor, so now I go with this doctor. But she's like my age, like give or take 5 years, and she's a, an attractive woman. And so I gotta be like, okay. And she's like, okay. So I tell him about it. And I was like, it was up on top and then it was at the side. And now it's like down underneath. It doesn't really bother me when it's down underneath. And she's like, okay. She's like, well, why don't you stand up and drop your drawers and let me take a look? And I was like, oh, okay. It's weird. It's stand in front of an attractive woman your own age and fucking dropping your pants. Of course, shorts, they whip right down with the boxer briefs come right down with them. I'm gonna make sure you got the full visual. We got the sports shorts, which is about all I ever wear. And I never do sports, but I like the comfy shorts. And boxer briefs, so you got them with the wallet and the keys and everything, so it's heavy in there, so it's just... But I got my hand over my cock. When you say cock, it sounds bigger than dick, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. A grower, not a shower, so I didn't want to be unimpressive, so I kind of got my cock in my hand there. And
don't you usually?
In one hand, and then the other hand, I'm showing my ball. I'm like, hold on, let me find the lump for you. And so I'm feeling around, but when it's on the bottom, it's hard to find. It's obvious when it's on the side or the top. Like I said, it moved. But so... I'm sitting there in front of this girl, like my woman, my crotch about level with her face, and I'm just fucking playing with my balls, trying to find this lump that's like gotten up in the gearworks, behind the balls, and it goes on forever. I cannot find the fucking thing. I'm like, it's kind of like when you take your car to the mechanic and it stops making the noise as soon as you get there. And she's like, you're all right. And so I'm sitting here fiddling with my balls in front of there it is, it's right there. And then she's like, okay. She's like, do you mind if I feel? And I'm like, no, please, I need to get this figured out. And so she does, and she's like, okay, well, because it's not like attached to your ball, like if you actually get a lump on your testicle, that's really bad. That could be testicular cancer. I had already fucking resigned myself to it being something horrible. I was like, well, I'll get some time off from work and they'll cut a nut off. That's not going to be that bad. They'll give me lots of drugs. I won't have to work for a little while. It'll be all right. I was ready for it. I was like, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. It's fine with me. But she's like, no, she's like, I'm almost absolutely sure that this is nothing that's like cancerous or dangerous or anything. It's going to be fine, but we should probably get it looked at. So they schedule an ultrasound for me. So now I got to go in for the ultrasound.
Oh my God.
And there's like, you check in across the hall, and in this little office, there is nobody but this one girl, and she's like so young. Like, I'm not even sure she was 19. And she had a little bit of a speech impediment, bless her heart.
Bless her little heart.
So I got this. She takes me back in the room and she tells me what to do to get undressed. And she says, now you put the towel here and you get your balls out, have them setting on top of your legs like this, and then I'll come back in. And I don't want to see your penis, she says. And I'm like, I'm sure you don't. I was planning to try to cover it up. It's not like I was trying to show. I think it was just part of like the speech that she had to say. Like, I don't know. But it was so funny. Oh my God. And so then she comes back in and I'm laying there and she fucking puts the gel. The gel is warm. I expected the gel to be cold. How thoughtful of them. They warmed it up. Ooh. So she's fucking running this thing just all over. She's just checking the whole balls. She's just getting a picture of the whole balls. And then she gets done and I was like, well, did you find the lump? She's like, I think so, but show me where it was. Show me where it is so I can make sure. And so again, in front of this 19-year-old girl with my fucking balls out, I'm playing my balls trying to fucking find this lump that's likes to hide back here, and like it's decent size too. It's weird it hides so well. You got more shit going on down there than you realize. Like with big balls come big responsibilities. Indeed. But anyway, so again, digging it. I told my car mechanic joke, and then I'm like, okay, there it is. And she put the thing back on it, and she's like, yeah, I got good pictures of that. I figured that was it, and I was like, okay. And so I left, and they called, and it's like a day later, 2 days later, they called, and they said, it's just a cyst. If it gets bigger, or if it starts causing you pain, then come back in and we'll figure out about getting it removed. But I just leave it otherwise, and I'm like, okay. And I take that like on the one hand, hey, I already fucking went and showed my balls to everybody and got them scanned. Why don't we get this fucking thing out right now? Because I've had cysts behind my like I had a big one behind my ear that I'd like pop with a heated nail every so once in a while and squeeze the shit out of it.
Gross.
I'm being gross as fuck, ain't I? Yeah, I used to have this big old cyst. It would swell up and
Jesus
make my ear
Christ,
uncomfortable.
man.
I'd fucking stab that thing. I'd take a nail, I'd dip it in rubbing alcohol, and then put flame to it, and then just poke that into the back of it, move it around, pull it out, and then squish, and then hopefully get a bunch of stuff out, and then it feels good for another few months.
What the
till it
fuck is wrong
heals
with
up
you?
and swells back up. And then I had one in the earlobe on the other ear.
Oh,
I got both
Jesus.
of those removed a few years ago. I had to go back in a second time for the one on the back of the ear. They didn't quite get it all. Man, that time I got woozy. I almost passed out. It was getting towards the very end, and I was like, "Hey, maybe I need some more drugs." And she's like, "We're almost done." And I was like, "Okay." And then I almost passed out. It's just I don't know. It's a weird thing. You ever been getting your blood taken or whatever, and they miss the vein the first couple times, and then they go in for a third time, and you just kind of like, you just get kind of lightheaded. I don't know. Is that what happened to you? You ever almost pass out? It's been rare. I can think of 2 times. Once where they were terrible at taking my blood and had to stab me like 4 or 5 times before they finally got it. And once when when they were trying to cut that thing out of the back of my ear the second time. All right, fun stuff. So on the one hand, why can't we just take care of it now and get that sucker cut out? How bad could it be? On the other hand, I'm really not excited to get my nutsack cut enough to pull this thing out.
No.
You know, so one side or the other. And to be honest, it hasn't migrated. And if it does migrate, I could just push it back underneath, right? It's a free floater.
What?
Because it's free.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
you? It's like a little mini testicle. Keep it down underneath there.
Jesus Christ, man.
And everything will be all right. Hey, isn't that everything you wanted to know and more? How about your balls? How are your balls doing? Do you spray them with glitter, dip them in glitter? You know, a little something excited for your old lady? Like she comes into the bedroom and you're standing there with your glittery junk and she goes, "What in the world?" And you go, "Yeah, pretty nuts, right?" All right, hey, let's talk some poker, man.
Poker. Let's talk about some poker.
Talk about some poker.
I don't know.
Ay. Okay, Texas Hold'em poker. So basically, you've got the dealer, and if there's a designated dealer, there's a button that goes around to show who the person dealing is. So you got the dealer or the button, and the person to the clockwise. So like the person to the left of the dealer is the small blind, and the person to the left of them is the big blind. Big blind is typically twice what the small blind is. So if the small blind's $1, big blind is probably $2. And then so whatever the big blind is the minimum bet on each round. So if the big blind is $2, the least you can bet is $2. So you can't bet $1, you can't bet 50 cents. If somebody bets $2, you can't raise them $1, you have to raise them at least $2. Or if they bet $4, you have to raise them at least $2. You know what it might be? If they bet $4, you might have to raise them at least $4. I'm not sure. We won't worry about that. I can't remember that particular rule. It sounds like it should be important, but it's not. Okay, so you get 2 hole cards that are yours, and there's a round of betting. Everybody has to either call the big blind or fold, and then the big blind has the option to raise at the end if they want, or check. And then there's 3 cards that come up, and then there's another round of betting, and then one more card comes up, and another round of betting, and then one more card comes up, and another round of betting. So the first 3 that come up are called the flop, the one after that is called the turn, and the one after that is called the river. The final card is called the river. So you have your 2 you have your 2 cards in your hand and the 5 cards out there at the end. So you get to make the best 5 card hand you can with those cards. You don't even have to use either of your cards if the best 5-card hand is out there. Like if it's ace, 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 king, king. If it's ace, 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 king, king, there's a full house out there. Unless somebody's got another ace to make 4 of a kind, you're not even going to use your 2 whole cards. You're going to call, and you're both going to show your cards, and neither of them are going to matter because the best 5 cards are out there. On the other hand, like let's say neither of you have nothing, and there's a bunch of crap on the board. It's all lower than a 10, and none of it can make a straight. And one of you has an ace 2, and one has a king 2. Well, the person with the ace wins with the high card. Because the best hand they can make, they choose 5 cards. The highest card out of that is the ace. There's no pairs or anything. The other person makes the best 5 cards they can. Their higher card is something lower because they don't have an ace. Let's say you both have a pair. So I got a 7 and an ace. My opponent has a 7 and a 2. Okay, so a 7 comes up, and then a bunch of crap. None of us pairs. There's no straights or nothing. So both of us have 1 pair. I have 7 ace, he has 7 2. So with that 7 ace, I pick the best 5 hands, and it doesn't even have to be an ace. It could be like a king or something. As long as my 5 best cards, I have that pair, and then I have 3 other cards, and as long as out of those 3 other cards, I have the highest one. It doesn't have to be the top one either. Like let's say the next highest card is a king because it's out there, and then a 10 because it's out there. And then the last card, I've got a 9, but he's got a 7. I have the best 5 cards. So that's the whole thing. And the hands go high card, pair, 2 pair, 3 of a kind, straight. That's 5 cards that are in order, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, for example. Aces are high and low, if you didn't know. Everybody knows all this shit anyway. Okay, so straight. And then there's flush, where you have 5 cards of the same suit. And then there's full house, which is 3 of a kind and a pair. And then there's 4 of a kind, which is, 4 of a kind. Again, high card can come into play. Well, no, actually, a high card can't come into play. Well, it can if the 4 cards are up there.
Come
but
on!
if the 4 cards aren't up there, then one of you has got the 4 of a kind, the other one doesn't.
What the
So
fuck
never
are you
mind about
doing?
Sorry, guys. 4 of a kind, and then after 4 of a kind comes straight flush, was where you have 5 cards in a sequence that are all the same suit, and then a royal flush, which is the ultimate hand that cannot be beat, which is 10 through ace, 10 jack, queen, king, ace, all the same suit. That's the best hand. If you ever get that, it's the nuts. The nuts refers to the best possible hand given any 2 whole cards and what's on the board currently. So let's say I have ace, ace in my hand, and the board is ace, king, king. There's nothing that can beat my aces with what is currently on the board. And in fact, unless straight flush possibilities come up, I cannot be beat. But if what you have right now with your 2 cards is the best thing that can be for all the cards that are showing, then you have the nuts. So like, say there's two players, one of them has a full house. Say there's a ace, ace, king, king out there, and I have the ace, and he has the king. It doesn't matter what the other card is, really. So if I have the ace, I have 4 of a kind, I have nuts. I fucking lost the thing. No, 3 of a kind.
Get it fucking
I
together,
thought I was
man.
going to
Come
try
on.
and impart some wisdom. This isn't going real well.
Jesus
but
Christ.
basically, high card and all that, you get the general picture. So now, the most typical kind of game is like 7 or 8 players, including you, and there's a small blind and a big blind, and it's a cash game, so where your chips represent cash. You have 1 chip, it's worth a quarter, you turn it in, you get a quarter back. So your chips represent direct amounts of money.
You don't say.
Cash game. So now the thing when you got like 7 or 8 players in a cash game is, what do you do if you get pocket aces? So you get pocket aces and you're like, oh boy, I'm going to be sneaky. I'm just going to check. Everybody checks. The flop comes up. It's something like 7-2-9, and then another 7 comes up. There's some small bets and you're calling them. You're like, I'm sneaky. I got pocket aces. And then you get to the end and then somebody's got like 2 pair or 3 of a kind, and all you got's the aces, and then you end up losing. So you got to raise beforehand. So you raise the pot beforehand and hope that they call, because when they're putting money in, you're the favorite. If I have ace, I don't care what you have. I don't care what you have, unless it's also ace, because then we're going to tie unless somebody gets a flush. If I have ace, I have the best hand right now before the flop. So I want to get as much money in the pot as possible. If you want to call me, I don't care what you have. I want you to call me. And at the same time, I don't want to bet too little before the flop, because I don't want fucking 7-2 coming in when the flop is 7-7-2-2. Or, excuse me, 7-7-2 or 2-2-7 or something like that. So if you slow play pocket aces, it's probably going to bite you in the ass. There's a good chance you're going to end up throwing that hand away. Because when you get, if there's no big bets, like maybe somebody raises the blind amount and most people call, or maybe there's no raises and everybody just calls the blind except for a 1 or 2 that fold, that people can have anything. So you got to raise extra. Conversely, you're in a situation like that, you're not on the blind, you got queen 2. Do you just call? And they're offsuit. You got queen 2 offsuit. Now it's a queen. Queen's not too bad, right? So it's going around. There's a couple people calling, and then there's a raise. Somebody raised twice the big blind. They raised from 2 to 6. Okay, I got queen 2. I could call that 6. I'm not even sure if I would call if it was just the $2, if it was just the blind, because what the fuck are you gonna do with that queen 2? Unless a queen comes up, or you get something wacky, like you can get wacky hands, like odds are against it for any hand, but you can get like queen 2, or 2-2-2, or something wacky, or flop were an open-ended straight, like maybe it comes 9-10 jack, and then you need a king or an 8 to win. Then okay, I lost my train of thought. But you got queen 2. So unless you hit something crazy, what the fuck are you gonna do? I mean, suppose a queen does come up and the guy in front of you bets big. Are you gonna call? Like, even if you got it, like because there was a raise beforehand, or maybe there wasn't, maybe they got anything, but he's probably got a better ace. He's probably got a better queen. He's probably got queen jack, or queen king, or queen ace, or something like that, because he's betting on that queen. I mean, you'd bet queen with queen 2, right? Well, the thing is, you need a better hand to call than you need to bet. This is important. You need a better hand to call than you need to bet. Okay? So, if I do play queen 2 I just decide just to call the blind, which is the only reason I'm playing queen 2 offsuit. Or maybe I'm in the blind and nobody raised. So I got queen 2 offsuit. And so a queen comes up. Queen, junk. It doesn't matter what it is. Maybe it's a queen ace. Maybe we got a high card up there too. Maybe somebody's got an ace. Okay? Let's just think they're lower cards though. Okay, so we got some lower cards and we got a queen. It's not looking like any big straight possibilities. And there's a queen. Now, there's somebody else that has a queen. Now it really depends on if they're betting before you or after you. Let's say they're after you and they got queen, king. And you're sitting here with queen 2 and a queen comes up, and there's nothing else fancy, neither of you are paired. So you bet first, you're like, I got a queen, that's pretty good. So you throw out a bet, you throw out $2 or $4, big blind or twice as much. A lot of times you'll want to bet half pot or pot. Depending on how much is in the pot might be how much you want to bet. To be strong enough to be like, you don't want to call me, it's going to be uncomfortable for you to call me. We'll come back to that. But so you got queen 2 and you bet. Now the person behind you, they raise. What the fuck are you going to do now? Sure, you got a pair of queens, but you bet it, and there's a bunch of crap out there other than a queen, and this guy behind you raises. He might be full of shit and just trying to get you off your hand, but how are you going to call that? Because if he's got a queen, it's better than your queen, unless it comes up on the board so that the 2 doesn't enter into it. You're fucking boned. and you're really unlikely to hit another 2. And what happens if you do hit another queen on the next card? What happens? Well, that improves him just as much as you. So what you play before the flop is kind of tricky. So obviously ace-ace, you want to get as much money in the pot as possible. Probably same with king-king. But at the same time on both of those, if you know that if you raise twice the big blind or something like that everybody's going to fold, then it kind of depends on how many people have called beforehand. Because it's a lot better to take down what's in the pot now than it is to put to spike it up and then lose it. So it's tricky. I mean, sometimes slow playing works good. Like you got a really good hand, like aces, or even you just flop a really good hand and you're early in position. Position is important because you got the dealer, and so I didn't say. So there's the dealer, small blind, big blind. So the first round of betting, it starts after the big blind. They can call or they can raise. They can call the big blind or they can raise, and that goes all the way around. Then the small blind can call whatever it's up to, whether it's just to the big blind or whether somebody raised it. They can call that, or they can re-raise it, and then the blind himself, he gets the same option. And the blind's the last person to act, unless he raises, because then it's got to go around again to everybody to see if they want to call the raise. I lost my train of thought. But position, that's what it was. Position's really important. So if you're on the button, if you're the dealer, that's the best position to be in, especially with a strong hand. And that makes it so if you got a great hand, then everybody in front of you has got a chance to bet first. And you can decide, like if the very first person bets and the person after them raises, and then everybody calls that raise, you might say, oh shit, yeah. You might just call that and go to the next round and then get some more. Or you might raise it again to see if they'll put more in. You got to decide, how strong is my hand? Do I want to win it right now? So there's also winning it right now, and that becomes really difficult. And like when there's a bunch of people. So if you get like pocket aces before the flop, you got to bet big. You got to bet big because you don't want to be going all the way to the river with bets and calls on somebody with a 9-10 when a 9-10 comes up or a straight comes up for them or some shit like that. Like they might call a reasonable sized bet, just like, hey, I'm not that bad. I got 9-10 suited. And then they hit the flop. And then if you keep pushing, hoping that they didn't hit it, you might end up getting boned. So you got to make a big enough bet that they're just going to be in it. I don't know. I'm not explaining it very well. That's I never explain things well. Everything depends on, and like it's tricky, and you got to go. Okay, let's talk about hand odds and pot odds. So let's say you got into the flop and you got 3-5 suited. You got 3-5 of hearts, and it comes up heart 5. Doesn't matter what the two hearts are. Let's say they're high cards. They're king, queen, heart, and a 5. You've got a pair. It's the bottom pair. It's the lowest pair of 5s. And you got your other cards are 2. But you also got 2 hearts, so you could hit a flush. So what are your chances of hitting that flush on the next card? Now, you got to think about hand odds. Okay? So first of all, you got to think about how many cards you've seen. So you got your 2 cards that are in your hand, and you got the flop, the 3 cards that are out there. So that's 5 cards. So out of 52 cards, there's 47 you haven't seen. Now, I have 2 hearts in my hand. There's 2 hearts out there. How many more hearts are there? So there's 13 of every suit in a deck. So you got 4. 13 minus 4 is 9. So there's 9 hearts out there, and there's 47 cards out there. One of those 47 cards is going to come up. 9 of them are hearts. So, like, it's 9 out of 47. 9 out of 47. What is that? You break that down, it's approximately 1/5. Approximately 1/5. So if they just dealt the next card, if they just dealt the next card 5 times, you would hit that heart approximately 1 out of those 5 times. So pot odds become important. Let's say you know you're beat. Let's say you know that your opponent has an ace. You just feel it. You know it. You know they got an ace. You know they got the high pair on the board. You got a measly pair of 5s. They're not worth anything. You could hit a 5 to improve. You could hit a 2 to improve with 2 pair, or you could hit your flush. Oh, wait a minute. Now the 5 and the 2, those are extra outs. Outs are cards that can help you win. So the other 5s, there's 2 more 5s in the deck, and 2s, there's 3 more 2s in the deck, so that's 5 more cards, plus your 9 hearts. Now that's 14 cards. Now you got 14 cards, you think. So 14 out of 47. Ooh, now it's better than 1 out of 4. So now, what depends on how much the pot is. So like if your pot, say the pot's $40, and say your odds are approximately 1 out of 4, about a fourth, and a pot's $40. If he bets $10, then you're getting decent pot odds. If he bets $5, you're getting really good pot odds. And that means that if you were to make this bet every time, on average, you would win money in this situation. You're going to be betting an amount where that the number of times that the card comes out, that you're going to be pretty much even. So if that's when your hand odds and pot odds match. And the pot odds are how much do I have to put in relative to what's in there, which counts the money in the middle and the money that people have bet or raised that hasn't been pushed into the middle or yet. So if there's $40 out there and it's going to cost another $10, so you're basically betting $10 against 40 that you're going to hit that. So you're about 1 in 4, which is about right with all those outs if you think those outs will win. But on the other hand, you got to think about, what if I hit it and still don't win? What if I have 2-5 of hearts and my opponent has King 6 of hearts? Now, even if I get that flush, I'm going to be beat. So it's important that when you're looking for a flush, that you have a pretty high card, probably a face card or an ace. Because otherwise it's real easy for somebody to come in there. And then what happens when you go ahead and call that bet, and then you hit your heart? You hit your heart, you got a flush, and you're like, fuck yeah. And they bet, and you raise big, and they call you. And then the next card comes up, and it's a heart too. Now, you've got fucking 5-2 of hearts. So, you're going to make the best flush you can out of the cards out there, the 5 cards out there and your 2 cards. So you're going to take your 2 cards and the best, you're going to take the best 5 hearts between your 2 cards and those cards up there, okay? But they have a queen of heart, and they got it mashed up. Oh man, this is hard. I'm losing track. I think I probably lost most people by now. Okay, I'm just trying to explain like how difficult it is. Like on a cash game, it's tricky. Like you want to get in on hands that have a lot of opportunity to improve, because you want to flop where you're strong and people are betting a pair and you're sitting here with a high pair and a flush draw, or you got 2 pair or 3 of a kind or something like that. But you also got to pay attention to what the board is. Does somebody else have a flush? Does somebody else, if there's a pair out there that's helping you make your full house, if somebody has one of those and another card that makes a pair, does those 3 of a kind give them a better full house? Like, is theirs going to be kings when yours are queens? Or is their straight higher than yours? That's another thing. Like, let's say you got a 4 card straight. So so a flush on the flop. To the next card, if you have two hearts and there's 2 hearts up there, you got a 1 in 5 chance of making on the next card. Then the next card comes, you didn't make it, there's another round of betting. You've got approximately, there's 1 more card out of the deck that you haven't seen, but or that you've seen now, so you got to subtract that, so it's 46 instead of 47. But there's still, what was I saying? But there's still 9 cards that can make your thing. So if you have 2 and you're 1 in 5 on the turn, if it doesn't come, you're still approximately 1 in 5 on the river. Now what about a straight? Let's say you got a gut shot. So you've got a 5-6 and 2-3 ace or 2-3-7 or something is up there. 2-3-8. Let's go with 2-3-8. Oh, I have a hard time keeping this. Okay, so I got 5-6 and there's 2-3-8 on the flop. So 5-6, 2-3, 4 would be 2-3, 4, 5, 6. I need a 4. 4 would give me a straight. It's right in the middle, it'd be strong. What are the odds of me hitting a 4 on the next hand or on the next card on turn? Well, there's 4 4s in the deck, and you haven't seen any of them, and there's 47 cards left that you haven't seen. So 4 out of 47. Wow. You divide that down, it's like 1 out of 10, 1 out of 11. You got like a one. Like if the next card came 11 times, you'd hit it like once out of those 11. So, but if it changes quite a bit, if you have an open-ended straight. Now let's say that you have 7-8 and it's 5-6 king. So now you got 5-6 on the board and you're 7-8. So you can hit a 4 or a 9 and hit your straight. Now you got 8 outs. 8 outs out of 47 is approximately the same as a flush. It's just a little bit less. It's about 1 out of 6. So you got like a 1 out of 6 on the next card of hitting it. But then, of course, like, what if you're in one of these positions? You got 4 flush cards, or you got an open-ended straight, and you're on the flop, and your chip stack's low, and they bet big. So they bet big. They're gonna call you all in. Are you gonna call or not? Oh man. So it really doesn't matter what comes up on the next card. It matters what comes up on the next 2 cards. Am I gonna hit it? And if I do hit it, am I gonna be strong enough to win it? So you got so let's say the flush. So you got the 1 and hold on. I actually got a guide for this because the math gets more complicated when you've got 2 different things to run. So the flush is 9 cards, so you end up with a 35% chance of hitting it on one of the last 2 cards. So there's going to be 2 cards. What are your chances of hitting it on one of them? And that is 35%. So if you play it 3 times, you're going to hit it probably one of them. So you got to make that decision. What about your open-ended straight? You got 8 cards. That's a 31%. That's a little less than 1 out of 3. So on the 2 final cards. I don't know. Has any of this helped? And the table, like your position is important too. Like who's going to be betting before you. Sometimes earlier position is better when you have a strong card to like it's really hard to defend and call against somebody who raises pre-flop and then bets big on the flop when there's high cards out there. If you didn't hit that flop, you gotta throw your cards away. That's really difficult to defend. What if you hit a piece of that? What if it's ace 10-7 and you got 10-6. You got a pair of 10s. I mean, you got the middle pair, but it's really hard to call with that. Like maybe he's full of shit, maybe he hit the ace. Sometimes you get on a run. Sometimes you get good cards and you bet a lot. Sometimes the run comes right after you where you bet cards that weren't so great, but you pretended they're great. Sometimes you represent, like an ace comes out. Sometimes you play like you got the ace even though you don't. Sometimes the only way to win the hand is by bluffing. And then there's the semi-bluff, which is when you got like a draw, like a flush or an open-ended straight draw. And you bet more than your pot odds should dictate, because you're betting both that I hope they fold, but if they don't, I might hit it. So you got a little bit of both going on. I think there's a good chance they'll fold, but if they don't, I might hit it. And if they don't fold, then they're committed to this hand, and if I do hit it, I'm going to bet big, and they're going to call it, and I'm going to get their money. But they might be on the flush draw too, so that's when it comes in. You better have one of the cards be kind of high on the flush draw, or be a little more cautious. Maybe you don't bet quite as big, or maybe you I don't know. When strong, display weakness. When weak, display strength, which is kind of true, but also kind of not. You want to mask your hands sometimes, like you got your strong. I don't know. It's tough. Like my least favorite type of game is like an 8-person cash game. It's so fucking boring because if there's raises pre-flop, like even if there's been 2 people calling the blind before you and you look down at like a 10-9 off and you know that somebody's going to raise and they're going to raise like $20, like you're wasting your money if you put that blind in. But then if they don't raise, then that's a halfway decent hand to play. It's like, I'd play it, but I'm not going to play it for a big raise. For that, I got to wait for like ace, king, king, ace, king, suit, ace, king suited, ace, queen, or ace jack suited, one of them is suited, or pocket tens or something like that. Whew, it gets fucking tricky. It gets boring. So you can either just play to have fun if the blinds aren't that big and there's not a lot of raise and you can get in a lot of hands, and then you can bet when you've actually got something on the flop. You know, position is important though. Like I was trying to say earlier, like it's hard to defend off a big bet. Sometimes that's what you gotta do. That comes more into play like in tournaments. So I've been playing on this free poker app, WSOP, where I think it starts you with like 250,000 chips or something. And there's all kinds of ads. You can buy more chips and buy spins on this wheel that'll give you chips and blah, 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 blah. It's mostly playing Hold'em, but you can buy all kinds of fucking shit. I haven't spent one fucking penny and I never will. I will not spend one single penny on one of those in-app purchase games. Never, never. In fact, I really don't play them except for this because poker's fun. Them cash games were kind of easier at the lower levels. It's kind of funny because on that, you build your chips up, and they give you like bonuses and stuff. They give you chips and stuff, but still, if you're constantly losing your chips, you're not going to have anything. You're going to have to restart the app or buy something. Which don't fucking ever make an in-app purchase on an app. Are you crazy? Delete your account, start fresh, and build back up. It kind of goes up because as your chips grow, you play in bigger games, and there's games you can select in. Like I could go back and play in things where the buy-in's 250,000 and the blinds are like I don't know, 100 and 200 or something like that. It'd be so fucking boring because I got a much bigger stack now. You work your way up, and as the games you play in get the chips become higher, then the players become a little better. I mean, it's still free chips. People still do stupid shit, but like they've got that many chips either because they spent a bunch of money on them. Like, why would you do that? Or because they've played well enough to build up their stack. And so they're a little better player, and so you end up playing like bigger and bigger things. I'm up to 2.6 billion, and the cash games, they're all right. Like you 8 people at a table, like it's okay, but you got to sit there and fold and fold and fold, and then you got to raise with a decent hand, and then when you beat, you got to fold. That's the thing with like a full table like that. When you raise before the flop and you get callers and the flop doesn't come your way, or it kind of comes your way, but you just know, so, like 10-10 king comes up and you got king jack, and you know you've got the king, but the way people are betting, and there's like 3 or 4 of them, you're like, you know one of them's got the 10, you know you're fucking beat, so you can't call a huge bet trying to get a king on the next card because how many kings are left in the deck? 2? How many cards are left in the deck? 47? 2 out of 47? Gee, that's not really good odds. That's like a 1 out of 20 or something like that out of hitting on the next card. You can't call for it. Okay. But what I really like is playing these like tournaments on this thing. As far as tournaments that I've found, they've only have like these 3-person ones. And I've gone up 3 levels. I think the first buy-in was like 4 million, and then 40 million was the next level I went up to. And I've been playing these 400 million ones where 3 people buy in for 400 million, and there's a wheel that spins, and so you either get 800 million or greater to play the thing. And most of the time it's 800 million. It's twice your buy-in. So like 3 people buy in, but only pays out 2 buy-ins most of the time. Sometimes it's 120, like there's a billion. Like it's just like at the casino with those wheels where it usually lands on the shittiest thing. Every once in a while that's you win one that's like 5 buy-ins or something. But I like to play them because it's a 3-person tournament. You each get 10 million in chips is how the way they put it out. And it's the 3 of you, you're basically locked in a room, and you're going to play until only one of you have chips, until 2 of you are out. And so the blinds go up. The blinds start at 250,000, 500,000, 125, 250,000, and then they just keep doubling, and they double like every minute or two. So it gets fast. Like if you lose a couple hands, if you're playing and you lose a couple hands and you call like a million bet here and a million bet, all of a sudden you got 6 or 7 million, and the blinds are 3 million, 1.5 and 3 million, and then 3.5 and 7 million or something like that. So you gotta keep it, and you gotta play. You're playing your opponents just as much as your cards. So you're still looking for really good cards, but what's good cards kind of opens up. You might on the first hand get pocket tens and go all in and say, I want somebody to call me, and I just want them to not hit their pair. If they have, unless they've got a pocket pair that's higher than yours, they're as my dad liked to say, sucking hind tit. And also, if they do call pretty big, you maybe not all in. Like let's say I get pocket pairs, a pocket pair, whatever pocket pair, and I raise pretty big before the flop. Like let's say the blinds are the big blinds $1 million, and I raise it up to 3 or 4 million. If they call that, even if I don't hit, like let's say I got ace king, ace jack, even if I don't hit, if I come back out and bet on that flop, that puts them in a rough position. If they're acting before me and they come out and bet, then I kind of got to be like, oh, is this ace high going to be good? Because I didn't hit nothing. And it's probably not. Sometimes you still might want to call one for it. Oh, man, I don't know how helpful this is.
It's not. It's not helpful at all, motherfucker.
Yeah. Implied odds. I never talked about implied odds. Okay, so I'm still talking. You're going to go, hey, can you guys listen to this rambling? Is it rough? Okay.
It's fucking rough, buddy.
Yeah, I love those 3-person tournaments. They're fun to play. I mean, I do. You can do more bluffing, but it's not so much bluffing as like keeping your momentum. Like if you have 15 million and they got 10 million, and the blinds are like 5 million or greater, even if you just both call before the flop, that's a big pot. That's a big pot. So like if you check, there's a good chance they're gonna bet. And if you don't have it, like unless you're playing sneaky, being like, oh, I hope they bet because I'm gonna raise big because I got this good hand. But if you check and they bet, what the fuck you gonna do? Like even if you got like a pocket twos or excuse me, like let's say you got a pair of twos or a pair of tens, you got middle pair or a bottom pair on the board, and he's going, and he bets before you, like, what are you gonna do? And if you bet before the flop, and then you come out, and then you're the one that bets on the flop, that's really tough to defend against. You've got to hit it or have a good pocket pair really to go ahead. Did I talk about implied odds? So there's the pot odds, like, okay, these are the chances of me getting that card on the next card. Those are hand odds. And pot odds is like, how much would this bet be in relation to the pot? And then there's implied odds, like, okay, now if I do make this hand, is he gonna call a big bet or bet big in front of me to where I'm gonna get like extra money? Like rather than just winning down the pot, there's all this extra money that I'm gonna win if I do hit it, and that might make it more justifiable to call. Like if you got one out of like say the pot's 30, and he bet, say the pot's 30, it's 20. He bets 10, so now the pot's 30. So it's 10 more to you. So you got about a 1 out of 3 pot odds, and you're going for a flush on the next card because you got two in your hand and 2 on the board. So he bets 20. No, there's 20 in the pot, and he bets 10. So now it makes 30 in the pot, and it's a $10 to you. So it's $10 to you. You have a flush draw. You have two hearts, and 2 hearts are on the board. And one of your hearts is a high card. You're pretty confident that if you hit that flush, you're going to win. And you think that maybe you think he's got a pair of aces. And maybe you think he's going to call no matter what. Now you're planning to, if you hit it, you're going to make a big bet and you think he's going to call it. Now all of a sudden you have these implied odds. Oh, so now even though it's 1 out of 3 pot odds, but 1 out of 5 chance of hitting it, your chances of hitting it are worse than your pot odds, but because you expect to win quite a bit more money if you do hit it, that gives you implied odds, and it makes it worth the bet. Whew. I don't know. Those 3-person tournament games, are fun. The odds more can't come in like on cash games. On tournament games, you still kind of do that shit, but at the same time, like the blinds go up and to where every hand becomes important and you're playing the player as much. So your reputation matters too. Like if you've been betting big and taking down hands, and then when you do end up going to the river and showing down where somebody calls you all the way and you show really good cards and take it down, then they're kind of afraid of you. And then a bet's going to make them go away. But at the same time, even if they don't give a fuck about you or they're super unimpressed, if you bet big on the flop and they didn't hit it, they should fold. I mean, and that's kind of, sometimes you semi-bluff. Sometimes like maybe I hit low card. Maybe I have 7-2 and I pair a 2 on the flop. And there's like an ace and a 10 out there. 2-10 ace. And I bet the flop. So I'm semi-bluffing because 2s aren't that good, but at the same time, if he didn't hit nothing, it's going to be hard for him to call. I don't know. I think that's all I got to say about poker. Those little 3-person tournaments, I can play them fucking over and over and over and over and over again. I played so many of them. They're fucking fun. I lose a lot of them, but boy, there's a lot in a row where I win a lot of them, where I just look like a crusher. It's so great. Like when you got good cards and you bet before the flop and then it comes and then you didn't hit nothing and then you bet and then they call and then you make and then you do a big bet and they fold. I don't know. I'm rambling. I'm so excited. Okay, thanks for listening to the poker stuff. I hope it wasn't too painful. I think we're gonna do a little movie time and call it a day. Movie time. No. Movie time, well, it's movie time. Old movie, old movie, old movie time. I was over at my folks hanging out with my dad, and he put on an old movie. Picked something on Netflix he was going to watch next or HBO or something. And it was this fucking old ass 1930s movie doing the Mark Twain story, Prince and the Pauper. And it wasn't that particularly good or nothing. And I only watched about half of it. Probably less than that because me and the dog went out and took a long walk in the middle of it. But it made me want to watch old movies. And so I watched some old movies. I was, how about James Cagney? So we tried a James Cagney movie. Lady Killer, 1933. A theater usher is fired and gets into a criminal gang. Yeah. Oh, James Cagney movies, like always like guns and gangsters and stuff. It's good shit. Okay. So this guy was a theater usher and he gets fired and then he ends up in criminal activity and the police catch up to him and he runs to LA. And what happens is like, he shoots somebody, and this showed up in like 3 of the movies, this exact scenario. Shoots somebody, and now they're all worried because if the person dies, then they'll be wanted for murder, but if they live, they'll be all right. So he's not sure if the guy's going to die or maybe he does die, I don't remember. But he runs to L.A., James Cagney goes to L.A., and he stumbles into becoming a movie star. Like he's just being himself, standing somewhere, and somebody's like, hey, go in here. Oh, yeah, it was like a Prison Break movie, and he punches some guy. And they're like, that's great, let's get that on camera. But he ends up becoming like the biggest movie star. And then his old criminal gang shows up in Hollywood. And like this fucking one woman in the gang just shows up his room. He's going to his room, and he's got this like the biggest Hollywood starlet, the main leading lady. She goes up to his room with him, and like they're starting to get something. He's like, yeah. And this fucking criminal bitch managed to get into his room. He's like, oh, get out of here. Oh, the starlet leaves. Oh no. But this criminal gang hangs around, gives him shit, makes it tough. I think he eventually beats him. That was Lady Killer. The Mayor of Hell. 1933. I like this one. The Lady Killer was good. The Mayor of Hell was good. There's criminal kids. It starts off, there's this little kid criminal gang, and they get busted, and so they're all rounded up, and they're going one at a time before the judge, and some of them, the kids' parents plead for them, and the judge says, all right, you take them home and you keep them in line, and some of them he goes, your parents ain't done shit, and I'm going to throw you in, what's it called, reform school, basically a state-run school, like it's basically a prison school. So he goes through all of them. There's some weird shit. And then, so these kids end up in this school, and it's fucking terrible, just terrible. And then a gangster that has been appointed deputy commissioner makes a visit to the school as part of his rounds. And that's James Cagney, of course. And there's a nurse there's some kind of nurse or something that's on the kids' side and says the kids should be treated well, but they're just run under strict discipline and beatings and shit like that. And so James Cagney comes in and gets a look at it. He doesn't like it. And he makes it his personal vendetta to go in. And so he ends up taking over the school and letting it run kind of like a democracy and giving the kids some dignity. And the kids rise to the occasion and they're all doing good. And then he's also... Cagney is also a gangster. I mentioned that? Yeah, and so in his side activities, he shoots somebody and he's waiting to see if they die or not. So he goes into hiding while he waits to see if they die. Because if they die, he's got to go into hiding for life. And if not, then he's fine. So he's in hiding, and then the other guy takes school back over and makes it even stricter than before, and the kids fucking riot and set shit on fire, and then the guy comes back in, he's like, hey, I've been hiding because I shot a guy, I'm a criminal like you, but don't worry, we're gonna do it all together, and we all get together. What's that? The Mayor of Hell, 1933. Dun, dun. The Public Enemy, 1933. So James Cagney's sort of a criminal kid. No, wait, that's the wrong one. Public Enemy. It's bootlegging. Prohibition. Yeah, so James Cagney gets into bootlegging during Prohibition, and he has a brother who is a war veteran who just does not approve. He doesn't approve of any criminal activities. He knows something's going on, but he's not really in the know. And Cagney shows up, tries to give money to his mama, and she says, oh, thank you, baby. And then the brother comes up and tears up the money and says, you're a bastard and you're a criminal. I don't know.
I don't know either.
It was okay. It was a pretty good. It was a good movie. It was a good fucking gangster old-timey movie. Old Cagney gets a personal beef and a vendetta, and he's going to go out and he's going to fucking put this gang down at the end. So he runs into the building with his gun, and he comes back out and he's been shot. And he lays down and he's dying and he goes, I'm not so tough. And it just kind of fucking ruined the whole movie. And then they put a card up that it's like, this is the criminal element that's ruining today's society. We must squash them like a bug or something. It was a good movie until his cheesy line at the end, like, I'm not so tough. And then them being like it's a public service announcement or something. I watched one called Sinner's Holiday, 1930. Also James Cagney. It's like sort of like a boardwalk park. They're running games and shit. There's a guy that runs the park. The guy that runs the park's kind of a prick. James Cagney shoots him, and then he's got to worry about whether he's going to die or not. Whether they're trying to figure out who shot him. And again? Whether the dies. Oh, the guy actually does die. Oh man, no! Big trouble. Jesus, it was a good movie. Sinner's Holiday, 1930. Then I watched a shitty one. Also a James Cagney. These are all James Cagney movies so far. Torrid Zone. Sounds like a romance novel. 1940. So there's this Banana Republic fruit plantation, and James Cagney was like working there, and he's like one of the main worker guys. One of the guys that runs shit. Not the owner, but one of the guys that runs shit. And so the owner's trying to get him to come back, so he's coming to visit, and the owner's like, oh, he's going to be working again here. He just don't know it. And he's like, I'm just coming to visit. And then there's this gal who stops in this, wherever this tropical place is, and she's at a nightclub. And I don't remember why, but the fucking fruit plantation owner is like, says to the cop, because he's in with the main cop guy, he's like, you got to get her out of here. She's got to get out of here. So she ends up staying and hiding out, and her and James Cagney have a love-hate relationship, and I didn't like it. It kind of sucked, man. There was just something about the whole fruit plantation thing that just didn't sit right. It just didn't hold up well. It was just a little bit off. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Then I watched not a James Cagney movie. I watched one called "You'll Find Out" from 1940. So there's this music personality that would have been on the radio at that time. I asked my dad if he was aware of him, but the 1940s before my dad's time too. Let's be fair. He's an old bastard. Yeah. He's an old bastard, but he ain't that old.
What?
But Kay Kaiser is the guy's name, and he's like a goofy little glasses wearing guy. And he's got what the fuck is his name? Kay Kaiser and his orchestra. So he's got his little radio show that I think was an actual radio show at the time. And there's a debutante that hires him and his band to play at her birthday party, which is at an old mansion in a remote location. Because, of course, after they get there, the bridge breaks down.
Yeah.
But here's what this movie had that made me watch it. It had Peter Lorre, Boris Karloff, and Bela Lugosi. Ta-da! Dun, 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 dun. Peter Lorre, you've seen him satirized in Bugs Bunny cartoons. I can't do a Peter Lorre. If Gilbert Gottfried was here, he'd knock it out of the park. Maybe we can put a Gilbert Gottfried Peter Lorre impersonation here.
You idiot! You bloated fathead!
Boris Karloff, he played Frankenstein, the original Frankenstein guy. He plays like a medium, like a fake mind reader connector to the spiritual realm. And the debutante's mother thinks that he's the greatest, but he's actually just, a scammer. And then Bela Lugosi. No, I got that wrong. Bela Lugosi is that guy. Bela Lugosi, who played Dracula. He's that guy. Boris Karloff is...
Then he growled
I don't
with
remember,
his
man.
Grinch fingers.
Boris Karloff. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. He's that guy. He's the guy that did that voice. I think he played Frankenstein too. But in this, he's like a butler or something. But just every time you hear his voice, you're just like, hey, you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. Anyway, Peter Lorre, Boris Karloff, and Bela Lugosi. Come on. And so it's like they're all bad guys, and Peter Lorre's like a detective trying to, because there's an attempt on the debutante's life. Oh no! Like a poisonous blow dart gets fired at her or something. So he's supposedly investigating that, but they are actually the perpetrators. Okay, that's the best Peter Lorre I'm gonna do. It wasn't bad. I don't know. And then I watched Titans: The Rise of Hollywood. Titans: The Rise of Hollywood is on Netflix. All the movies are on HBO. This was on Netflix. I actually really recommended this. I recommend this. This is one of those series where they dramatize real events. It's like a documentary, but they have people acting it out. So it's about like the birth of Hollywood from the first movies being shown as novelties, not even movies, like little snippets of motion picture being shown. Movies, think about it. Movies. Why do they call them movies? Because it's a picture that moves. Yeah. And so it's all about the beginning of the creation. It focuses on several people. The guy that started Paramount narrates it as if he was an older man. It's an actor playing him, but like he narrates it. And so there's all these Hollywood moguls, like the people that said, hey, we're going to start making movies, and how they started making movies. And then sound comes out, and the technology for sound, and they call them talkies. Now, talkies. Why do they call them talkies? Well, You never think about movies. Talkies sounds dumb, doesn't it? Movies are because they move, and talkies are because they also talk. It actually makes perfect sense. Anyway, that was a fascinating fucking show. You know, like these guys created the first stars. I can't think of the stars' names. None of the names matter. Oh, it doesn't matter. Hey, thanks everybody. Thanks for coming. I've been meaning to record this for like a week or two. I didn't do it last weekend. I almost didn't do it this weekend, but I said, fuck it, let's do it. Let's stumble. I think I stumbled through it pretty badly, but that's okay. Better done than perfect. Better done than perfect. Better done than perfect. Better to have some beers and stumble over poker stuff and repeat yourself about 10 times. What are you doing? Let's get on with it. Come on. If you got 7-2, why would you play 7-2? Even if they're suited. If they're suited, it's a bonus. It's not a reason to play those cards. It might tip you over into playing them versus not playing them, but generally speaking, like a 10-9 suited might tip you over from not playing a 10-9 offsuit, right? But suited should be a bonus. Like, just because you have 8-2 suited, don't mean you should fucking play it. Don't mean you should fucking play it. Hey, I forgot to tell you. So the Horseshoe's got a poker room. And so I went to check out the poker room. I hadn't been there in a long time. I've been there before. I have been to the poker room before. It's been 7-10 years, something like that. 5 to 7 years, probably. 5 to 7 years. I did play a couple of Sunday tournaments way back when there'd be like approximately 90 players. You know, there's multiple tables, and then as people go out, they consolidate the tables. And one of those, like where you buy in like $45 or $90, I forget, something like that. And then the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, I think paid out a little bit. There was one of those, the only time I placed, I ended up, I know I got lucky. I had pocket kings and like went all in before the flop on a hand. And a guy was, you know, right there before me, like, he bet, I raised, he raised, I went all in, something like that. And so we flip, and everybody else is out. So we flip up our cards, and he's got ace, ace, and I got king, king. And I go, oh, shit balls. And then the flop comes up, and then the turn comes up, and then the river comes up, and there was a king. Actually, I don't remember if the king was on the river. I don't remember where it come up, but a king come up. I got lucky and caught a king. And so I got a good double up at a crucial part. And then, you know, because the blinds go up on those too, not quite as fast as in like the little 3-person thing I was talking about, but the blinds go up on those too. So you got, if your chip stack isn't increasing, like you're just going to get fucking eaten alive by just playing blinds, just sitting there folding, you'll get eaten alive eventually. But anyway, I ended up, once I got in that position, I was able to play more. And then I got all the way to where it was down to me and one other guy. And he's like, so it was just like, out of all those 90 players, the last table was left, and it was just me and this one guy. We were playing back and forth for a while, and I was a little bit up, I think. And he's like, man, I need to take a leak. What do you say we chop it? And I was like, chop it? And he's like, yeah, let's just split first and second. And I was like, okay. So we did that. I think it was like $1,200 or something. Seems like it should have been more. I don't know. It was a pretty decent win. I remember I gave my brother-in-law and sister their buy-ins back. Because, you know, that won $1,200. So I did win one in person, like out of the, I don't know how many of those we played, 3 or 4. I did win, quote-unquote win. We chopped first and second. But anyway, so I was aware of the poker room and the Horseshoe. And I wanted to go check out a cash game. So a couple weekends ago, I should have done... I had taken a small break from drinking. I took 3 weeks off from drinking. I was feeling pretty sharp. But then I was like, oh, fuck, I feel too sharp. I need to get a little duller. Yeah. So now we're back on our bullshit.
Back on the bullshit.
But a couple of Saturdays ago, I went to the Horseshoe. It was one of those mornings where I started drinking in the morning.
Back on the bullshit.
And so I went to the Horseshoe feeling mighty fine.
Mighty fine, baby.
And just I was gonna put $200 in on a cash game and just see how it went. And I'm okay with losing this $200. I kind of want to get just like the lay of the land and get the feel and see how it works. So I go up to the guy and he's like, yeah, we don't have any openings right now. You can put your name on the list and we can text you. And I was like, well, how long do you think that would be? And he's like, probably about an hour. And I'm like, okay. So I put my name on the list and I go out in the casino and I put $20 in a Mr. Woo machine and it fucks with me a little bit. I end up playing that for like maybe a half hour, maybe not quite, on that same $20. And then I get the text, and just as I lose my last chips, I get the text. So I go up and I say I want $200. So they give me $200. And the games they have, I don't know how many other games they have, but the main one is a Texas Hold'em. It's no limit. I don't know what the minimum buy-in, but I think the max is $300. I think the most you can buy in is $300. So you can get up to $300 worth of chips. And it's just a cash game. But the blinds are $1 and $3. Sounds pretty nice, right? Instead, it's, so the small blind isn't even half of the big blind. So $1 and $3. So it's a minimum of $3 if you actually want to end up playing the hand, which sounds great. But then you're sitting there at this big table, folding hands. Oh, you get one, you went, like I won a couple. I think I was up about $70 for a while. But it just got boring and you want to splash in. So, you're like, well, this ain't bad. So you call the blind and then somebody raises like 20 or $30. I just wasn't in a good state to like get it all together. You got to be smart for that shit. You got to be paying attention to where the button is, who the blinds are, your position in relation to the button for that particular round, what your cards are, how your opponents have been playing, blah, 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 blah. You got to be paying attention to everything. And man, I did good for quite a while. And then I started splashing around, just going in on the blind on stuff. And then somebody would raise the $3 up to like 10 or 15. I think 10 was a pretty common bet before the flop. And you're like, well, fuck it. Yeah, I'll try this. This 9-10 suited looks pretty good. And you don't hit it. And then what are you going to do? You're going to play back against somebody? Or there were times when I hit like a piece of it where, they got better. They got a higher pair, or they got the same pair, but they got the better kicker because you got a shit kicker. Why are you playing with a shit kicker? You're the shit kicker. Anyway, shit kicker. I forgot to tell you about that. Shit kicker. Oh, I ended up losing the 200. I started draining down from that, and I got down to like having like 40 or 50 left, and I'd been there for like fucking forever, like 4 hours. You really got to have patience. You got to be in there. You got to play, if folding is so important. Even when you raise before the flop, you still got to be able to like let go of your hand. When you raise and somebody raises behind you, sometimes you're just like, well, they fucking got me beat. I mean, there is the chance that they're full of shit and they're doing that on a lower, but still, like, it puts you in a bad position. That's why you want to be the one putting the other person in that position. But anyway, so I got down to like my last 40 or 50, and I ended up it came down to the river. There was a bunch of betting. It was me and one other guy, and I couldn't even tell you exactly what was on the board. But I know that there were 4 clubs up there, and I had a jack of clubs. But there was also an ace that was not a club, and so it came down to it, and he bet big on the river, and I was like, oh man, I really want to call you, but I think you got the ace of clubs. I think you had the pair of aces, and then I think when it clubbed up, I think you got the ace of clubs. I think I'd been the one betting, and like he raised me once before, and then there was a big bet on the river, and I was like, oh man, I think you got the ace of clubs. I want to call you though, and he's like, I promise you I do not have the ace of clubs. I do not have the ace of clubs. And I was like, oh, because a king or a queen of clubs, I think. I don't know, one of them might have been out there, but there was still one of those that was higher than my jack of clubs. I was like, okay, I'll call. It was enough to put me all in my last 40 or whatever it was. And so he had a straight flush, and it was one of those low ones. You don't see a straight flush very often. It was a low, I don't know what it was, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, something like that. I don't know what it was, but it was a straight flush. And I was like, well, that's all right. I was ready to get out of here anyway. There were some hands I did win. I did win a couple. I won one at Showdown. This girl tried to do this lady tried to do a savvy bet against me, and I fucking called it with my pair. And she was trying to put me all in at an earlier point. Didn't quite put me all in. She didn't calculate correctly, but I just called what she put out, and she didn't have nothing. She's at the end, she goes, well, I didn't catch. She's trying to push me around, trying to make me fold, put me in that difficult position. It was a difficult position, but I called it and I won it. Anyway, I'll try that again some other time, but I got to be sharper, man. You got to be sharper when you're doing that shit. Yeah. So I'm going to take $200 to the poker room. I'm going to have to be sharper. I'm going to take another break from drinking or something.
Yeah, right.
Man, I should.
Tell me another story.
Once I get this fucking podcast edited, maybe I'll do that.
Oh, yeah?
It's so much easier. Like, to do the little shit I need to do on the podcast.
Shut the
like
fuck
this one, I'm
up,
gonna put some extra
motherfucker.
sounds in.
The
That's
fuck
gonna
are
take
you
a bunch
talking
of time.
about?
And then you got to edit the audio all together. That's gonna take a bunch of time.
No,
and then make the video at the very end. That's gonna take a bunch of time. So I'll get to it. But all those steps are easier to do them. Do one step a day, and be sipping on some beers. It makes it so much easier.
Shit, just let 3 months go by. Why not?
Do this.
You lazy fuck.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out at the Dougcaster. I'm going to leave you with a little bit of Burgess Meredith. I just love this is good, but my favorite part of this is the delivery of the line, I have been to Hawaii. However he says it, I have been to Hawaii. The way he says it is fucking perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, the late, great Burgess Meredith.
Hawaii.
I have been to Hawaii.
Which island?
Come on, I want to lay you.
King 10 in the blind. We're gonna raise it to 1 million. Blinds, big blinds 250. 250,000. He calls. Oh shit! Half pot. I should just let them bet. They're both go full. He's gonna call. He won't get off it. Oh, he stayed. He didn't stay. He folded. That's what I meant. I meant he folded. I don't know what the fuck I meant. Notice how I fold Jack 3 instead of putting any money on it? If I was in one of the blinds, I might think differently. But it's also still early. The blinds go way up. Okay, what do I got here? What do I got? Big blind, 2-8 suited. What are we gonna do with 2-8 suited? We got a fold, we got a big raise. We ain't playing with that big raise. Suited is a bonus. It's not a reason to call. I wouldn't call a 2-8 offsuit. Ooh! Well, let's make them sweat a little bit. Let's put in too much. Twice the big blind. Fold. What's this guy doing? He calls. 2 overcards, I don't know. Big bet mostly the pot, and he folds. 10 queen takes it with having nothing. Nothing at all. We don't want that. So we're ahead for the moment. Oh shit, king queen. The guy with the higher card wins. He got a 9 to go with the kings and queens. Man, I got nothing, but I'm in the big blind. At least I get a check. Maybe I'll get lucky. Nope, no luck. I was good thinking about maybe I should take it myself. Well, maybe I'll pretend I got an ace. I'll pretend I got an ace. Out. You get out. Get out. Out. See, that's how you do. So that's just reminding us how much it is. There's a wheel that spins at the front. And the wheel tells you, because you each buy in for 40. We got an ace. We're betting that. We're betting the pot. But it tells you how much. Usually it's just 80. This time it's 120. You know what's going on? Has he got a better ace? He got an ace 6. Oh, we got lucky. Enough cards up there. We get to split it. Ah, fuck it. Let them fight it out.
Queen 6. Queen 6. What the fuck am I gonna do with Queen 6? See, it's folded. That's why it's grayed out. Can you tell? Okay, what we got here? King 10. King 10 in the big blind. We're just gonna check it, I suppose. What we got here? Motherfuckers. Now we're gonna bet. If they got a 7 or a 4, they're gonna call us. But if not, they're gonna just give us their money. Unless they had a pocket pair, but then they probably would have raised more, huh? So now I'm in a small blind. Oh, he bets big. We're not doing that. Not doing that with Jack 7. No, sir. Not for no reason. I don't even want that. What we got here? Ooh, if I could get a 7-8 or a 3-7. Alright, what's going on next? King 8. What am I going to do with King 8? Is he going to call? Oh, I was probably going to raise that. I was going to raise that shit. What do we got now? Ace 6? What are we doing? Oh man, the blinds are 1 and 2 million now. I probably should call his big raise, but man, it's just getting sweaty. I'm still the winner. Man, let them figure it out. Get his last little bit out of there. I can just focus on the one guy. Well, this person's got a real picture, so I'll probably be able to use this. You can't see what the fuck's in it, can you? Okay, that guy's still in it. He won that? Oh my goodness. We'll check. King 4. Ooh! See, but if he got any spade, no spade come. But I'm still betting the pot. I'm taking it! Oh man, I got bullshit. And I'm out. I'll throw away my small blind. Happy throw away my small blind. This motherfucker. Pocket 6s. Pocket 6s over here. What we got? 3 million? Oh, fuck. We're gonna call. Call is always bad. You should fucking raise, man. 10-9. 9s and jacks. Has he got a jack? Doesn't matter. He's down. He ain't got many chips. He can go all in. Oh, he didn't even go all in. Come on now. Now you're going to do it. See, that's all his chips out there. So now I can just check and see what he got. I got a pair of 6s. He got a pair of jacks. He wins. Good job. Good job, buddy. I got to hold it back so you can see my cards. You can't see my cards over there. Ooh, ace 7 suited. A suited ace and this guy. Well, we're going to make him go all in if he wants to go in. No, he's all in. Queen 3. He's got a queen. Look at that lucky bitch. He hit his little queen. You turd. Okay, boy, we're not gonna play that. That's a big blind, man. 2.5 million. What is it? What the fuck is it? Now it's 5 million. I've only got 9.5 million. He's all in. I gotta check that, see what happens. King 9, he's gonna win. That's alright. I'm still doing okay. Oh, I moved my phone again. You couldn't see my cards. All right, what we got? Ace 8. Man, I gotta go all in on this. Oh fuck, he's gotta beat me. Ace 6. Hey, we fucking split it. That sucks. All them stupid 4s. What we got here? Ace 10. Fuck it. This will take them all out, right? Oh yeah. Come on, bitch. Get in there. Let's all go. No, it just us. Queen 10 versus Ace 10. Sorry, my friend. You're out. Out! Alright, now we got this little guy. He's all in on his hands. So, we can just call that and see what happens. Ooh, this queen's good. That brings him up almost halfway to me. We're past halfway. Shit, now 7.5 million? Good God. Ooh, he folded a good. That's nice. That makes it a little easier. So now I got anything at all, I'm going to raise. There's a jack. He's got a king. Ooh, but I got another jack. Nice. I could have got another heart, too. 120 million. Collect. Oh, boy. Almost 2.3 billion. Whoopity doodles.
Truly an historic day here at Price's Pit and beautiful. One side of Council Bluffs or the other. Here's the pit. I was going to say downtown, but I don't know that it's really downtown. You've seen the pit. You've been here before, but look at what you haven't seen. Look at what you haven't seen. Here it comes. Oh, look at that shit. You go. You look at that balls. You got your balls. You got your balls. That's not the greatest camera angle, but it's not bad. Oh, what? Where is he? Whoa.
I did it.
Yes.
That's good enough for now.
Oh.
Stick the plug with it.